Goliath, level 13, upgrade. Alright guys, since all the writ dyeing upgrades are done, I can finally do an upgrade that I've been wanting to do for weeks. And that's the RDLogics twin rear exhaust for the T-Maxx 2.5 and 3.3. Now, this one is going to require some modification, mainly to the roll cage, because where its placement is right where the roll cage is. So I've already figured out how I'm going to do it. It's going to require some slight modification to get this to fit. And guys, it is going to look epic when it's done. So let's get right on into it. To start this upgrade off, I'm going to be removing the tires and the roll cage. The tires are held on with a single 8mm nut, and then the roll cage is held on with 4 screws, each at the top of both sides of the bumper, both front and rear. With the roll cage taken off, we can now get to the engine and all its little parts that we need to take apart. Starting with the air filter, which we just need to pull this pin right here and pop the air filter off. Then we have the carburetor link, which is easily taken off by taking something like a flathead screwdriver or something long that we can just take and pry the hollow ball right off of the link, which takes a little bit of finagling. There, we got that. We can also take the pressure line off of the exhaust and the fuel line out of the carb. Then all that's left is to unscrew the 1 screw that holds the exhaust in place, and then the 4 screws that hold the engine to the chassis. With everything disconnected, the engine should come right on up along with the exhaust. Get a couple things out of the way that are still holding it on, such as the little RPM sensor, which should slide right on off. Looks like our screws low are giving it a little fun, so let's just work it off, and now it is free completely. Now the only thing that we really need to take to the engine is we're going to need to remove the exhaust manifold, and it's held on with 2 screws. Before we can put the new exhaust manifold in place, we're also going to need to remove the easy start motor, so that's going to be a lot easier to get it into place. Trust me, you're going to want to do this or else it will be a pain in the butt. So along with the exhaust system, you're going to get a new manifold, this gasket here, and the spring. For the gasket, you're going to want to slide it right on the exhaust port right here. And just so you guys do know, before you guys point anything out, the gasket does have a tear in it. I am already ordering a new one to go with this, but for now, this will work perfectly. Then we're going to want to take our exhaust manifold with it pointing like that, work it on over the gasket, just like that, so then it looks like this. Then we're going to take our spring. There's going to be 2 holes on both sides of the manifold. I'm going to take one side, hook it in there right there, and then carefully work it around the engine. This will give it the tension it needs to stay in place, but it's also going to be a pain in the butt. So doing this while recording is kind of difficult, so I will cut it before I put it on. With the new manifold in place, we can now take the easy start motor and just slide it back into place, screwing in the 3 screws that hold it into place. Now we're done with the engine, we can easily just slide it back into place and start putting in all the parts that go to it. First, we're going to need to take the exhaust, push it through the shock tower, and then slide the engine forward into place, just like that. Now that you can have the engine in place, you can go through and adjust your shock towers if you need to, if the exhaust does not go through all the way. Other than that, you can start screwing in the 4 screws that hold the engine in place, as well as putting in the RPM sensor into place, the temp sensor, the easy start glow plug lead, the fuel line, as well as the motor wires for the easy start, and then the little rod end for the throttle. With the engine remounted onto the chassis, we can now take our exhaust and mount it to the rear. Starting with these 2 little mounts that look just like this, we're going to unscrew the top of the shocks and slide them in right behind them between the shock tower and the shock cap. Now that the exhaust mounts are in place, we should probably remove the rear bumper, and it's going to be held on with the remaining 2 screws if you have the roll cage. If not, it should be 4 screws. With the rear bumper out of the way, we can now take our new exhaust, slide it onto the 2 posts, just like so. We're going to take our little gasket here, slide it on just like that, then slide it on to the exhaust manifold. Once that's all in place, you can take the 2 grub screws, screw them down in the holes right here at the top, and they'll hold your exhaust in place. You can snip the ends. You also want to make sure though that you can get to the screws that go right here for the bulkheads to hold the bumpers in place, so you can move it backwards just a tad, just enough so that you actually can see the screw holes, so you can get a screwdriver back there. But since I have the roll cage, I cannot do the same setup, so I'm going to have to pull this back off and go to the drawing board. So all I need to do to actually get this to fit into place is I'm going to need to modify these ends on the roll cage. As you guys can see, it's just barely enough for it to fit. So I'm just going to take this, put it on a vise, bend these little corners out, and then it should fit perfectly. Alright guys, so I modified the angles on the ends, and now the new exhaust system will sit right along the back of the roll cage. So let's hurry up, screw in the 4 screws that hold it into place so that I can get a good adjustment and get this in place. Now that I have the roll cage in place, I did some fittings with the rear exhaust and the bumper, and unfortunately I cannot fit the bumper in place along with the muffler, but I do have a plan. I can't do it today, but I'm going to get some parts, more like an upgrade, and we'll see how that works. So for now I'm going to put this bumper off to the side and just finish up the upgrade as is. So we're going to take the muffler, slide it in place while putting in our silicone tube. I'm using some of the standard Tmaxx silicone tubing from the Nitro Stampede to fit it, but I would probably need to get some that's a little bit bigger, because as you guys can see, the size difference is major. So I'm going to need to get some bigger ones at a different time. So for now I'm going to use some heat to get this to fit properly on the tubing and go from there. Well, last few things we need to do is to take the pressure line and attach it to the new exhaust. If you have enough slack in your line, this will be extremely easy, as if you just attach it before sliding it onto the mounts, but my pressure line is fairly short, so it's just easier just to do this with some needle nose pliers. After that, we can screw in the 2 screws that hold the muffler in place, and just snip the ends of these little metal rods, and then we're pretty much done. Last thing we need to do to finish up this upgrade is to take the tires, slide them right into place, and hold them down with a single 8mm nut. Here is before, and here's after, guys. Check it out. As you guys can see, there's a lot more room on the chassis, and the rear looks freaking awesome. So there's a couple more things that still need to be done. Unfortunately, I don't have everything to complete it, but there definitely leaves room for further upgrades. I know I'm going to need to get a bigger tube, because this tube is just too small. It'll work for now, but it's going to start tearing real quick, so I'm going to need to order a wider tube. So unfortunately that's going to have to be, but this does, or it will hold up, and I have extra in case I need to replace any for him as a meantime or for Alpha. As for the rear bumper, I have a plan. It's not the best plan, but at least it gets there. And I mean, I don't really take many impacts in the rear. Most of the impact damage on the bumper is just the chrome flaking off, or me going upside down. So yeah, so what I think is going to happen is I'm going to get my hands on some of the aluminum rear bumper mounts. Not the best idea. I highly suggest keeping away from aluminum bumper mounts because you want this bumper to flex. But unless I can't find something else, because I'm going to be chopping the top section off but keeping the rear hole, because on most aluminum mounts these two holes are connected, whereas this is not. So if I cut the top section off, then I'll be able to mount the bumper without interfering with the exhaust system. So that's what I'm thinking of for now, but I gotta look around and see what there is. But leaving it without the bumper, I'm not doing much rear backing up. Well, I am, but I'm not doing much for collisions. So I think it should be fine. Plus, it's got some play on it to help absorb impact. I'm not gonna... I expect the dual stingers to get some damage over time. But guys, that looks sick. And I cannot wait to give her a test run. So, before I end this video, there's one last thing I want to give you guys. A quick comparison of the sound. So I'm going to take this RC out along with a gallon of fuel. Going to tune her up, get her running, and showing you guys what the difference in sound is. So I will do that now. Oh, my head burning. Ow! Ow, ow, ow! Alright guys, so here I am in the garage. I have the old exhaust system set up. As you guys can see, I just kind of put it on the end of the new exhaust. I'm kind of in my paint booth right now in my garage. My dad runs a wood shop, so yeah. I'm in the paint booth, so I got some ventilation right there. Perfect. It's freezing outside, so I don't want to do this outside though. So it's going to get loud. I guarantee you guys it's going to get loud. So here is the old exhaust sound and performance test. Now I noticed I already ran it once, and I know she needs a little bit of tuning, or he needs a little bit of tuning. But he starts up perfectly. Check this out. Falling off the 2x4. Alright, there is the old exhaust. Now I'm going to put on the new exhaust, which is right there, and we'll hear what that one sounds like, shall we? Alright guys, so here we have the new exhaust in place. I'm ready. I don't know about you guys, so let's get this thing started. Probably would be smart to unclamp that. Now we can start. Ow! My eyes! They burn! Holy cow! So yeah, this guy is a lot louder. Holy shit, it's still steaming. That's so cool. So yeah. Something happened. Something big happened, cause my transmission is seized, or at least I think. Yeah, my whole RC is seized right now. Spur gear got trashed, so something happened while I was testing, which means yeah, guys, that was the last you'll see of this exhaust running while I figure out what's wrong. But man, holy cow, that thing was That thing is loud. My ears are still ringing from that. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna need to take him back inside, figure out what's wrong with him, and go on from there, because now Goliath is down for the count again. Watch, it's something in the transmission, like a C-clip that got loose and got all stuck somewhere again. I'm gonna have to figure out, because yeah, at this very moment, he is down for the count once again. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Alright guys, so I pulled Goliath's transmission, which seemed to be the exact problem that was going on with this RC. And yeah, what has happened is very, very interesting. I'm not going to bore you with all the terms, but yeah, it was very interesting. I pulled apart, fully expecting that screw that I put in during the RIT die upgrade to hold the idler gear in place down here. I figured that screw came loose and tore up the transmission, but it didn't. The primary and idler gear seem to be perfectly intact. So does the input, first, second, and other primary gear. They are all intact, no issues at all. But it's the dog gears that are interesting. The forward, the reverse, and the collar are all the dog gears. And, well, the drive gear, this gear right here, the thick one, is in perfect condition, as you guys can see. Nothing wrong with it. No wear, no tear, no damage to it, which was a good sign. The dog collar, aside from normal wear and tear from it shifting all the time, it is in good condition as well. But it's the reverse gear, that took all of the damage. And as you guys can see, it's completely shattered. It is completely shattered. Now, I figured out what went wrong, what caused the gear to completely just disintegrate. So, I was looking back on the footage. Obviously, when you guys saw it, it was in forward gear. It was driving forward while it was on the 2x4s. And all of a sudden, you hear a thunk, and all the power to the tires just cease. Now, normally, if that was the case, it would have been the drive gear that got vaporized or destroyed, but sorry, but I cannot figure out why I lost power when the reverse gear got destroyed. This gear getting destroyed should have been not stopped the power to the tires, but it did. And I looked back on the footage, and I noticed between the time that I started the engine, killed it, and started up the footage to basically talk before I ended the video, the gears, or the servo position had changed. So I think during the high-speed run, at one point, well, most likely when it just like clunked, is the servo tried to switch the RC into reverse at high speed. So what it would have done is the two gears are going in opposite directions. The reverse is going one way while the drive is going the other. So when this gear right here, the collar decided to disengage the drive, it would have lost power to one direction, and it would have engaged to the other gear to go in the opposite direction. But with them being plastic, it completely sheared the gear, because all of that momentum, all of that power is going that direction, and the gear wanted it to go the opposite direction almost instantly. So I don't know if this was a designed flaw, like a kind of like in case this actually does happen, the gear will just completely get disintegrated, which I would highly assume it is, just because the gear plastic is so different from all the other gears in the thing, because this plastic seems to be molded in a way where it's flimsy a bit. It's not too strengthened. You know, there's a lot of failure points, a lot of open gaps, so I assume that this gear was designed to break like this, which would make sense to prevent any further damage. But yeah, so what all happened would have been the RC tried to switch in reverse at full speed, and it just said nope and destroyed the gear. All the little pieces got tossed all throughout the transmission, and when it all settled, it kind of like filled in the cracks and just said like nope and seized the engine. All these little pieces getting in between the other gears, stopping the engine, or not the transmission, and then causing the spur gear to stop moving, which caused the engine to kill, or at least damage the spur gear. So yeah, a lot of science, a lot of talking, a lot of figuring out. So yeah, that's what I think what happened. I can't do anything with this RC until I get the new gears. I could not connect the servo and keep it in forward, but I don't want to put it all back together just to take it all apart. So I'm just gonna put all the parts in a bag, put it all up until I can get the gears. I already have a eBay cart set up with my favorite hobby shop that I order from. So yeah, shouldn't be long before I can get the parts. I just need to wait till tomorrow or my next payday to order the parts, and I should have them. Yeah, this has been fun. But guys, yeah, this exhaust here is freaking insane. Like, the video cannot get how just loud this thing is. My ears were literally ringing. But yeah, guys, this is beautiful. I cannot wait to get her out on the grass again. So I will see you guys all later. And that was Goliath, level 13, upgrade.